Hands Media. Start with Ryan or Trog, TSN.
Oh, sorry about that. Connor, you got me now?
Yep.
Okay. Connor, just can you give me your sense of kind of where the group is at? Obviously, pressure's ratcheted up a little bit here, but how do you think you guys rebounded and where are your heads at a day later, with this challenge?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we got, it's just, sorry, one second.
You're good.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's a big game. We got to find a way to get a win. I think the group, had a bit of a regroup and I think obviously this is a massive game for us tonight.
Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks. When it comes to trying to break through offensively, Connor, have you guys, when you examine the chances you've had and the opportunities, the way the play has gone, do you feel like it's right there, or are there some, substantive changes that you feel you need to make?
Well, I think, we're still getting chances. I wouldn't necessarily call them, as good a chances as we normally get. But it's the playoffs. It's tougher. They're not giving up much. They're kind of sitting back and making us play through all five guys and collapsing hard at the net and doing all the things that they got to do. So we've got to find a way to get one through, and their goaltender's playing well, too. So, they've had a lot of things go in their favor, and we can just switch the tide here.
Reid Wilkins, 6:30 Chad.
Thanks, Sean. Hi, Connor. Mike Smith has been such a huge part of the team for 2 years for you guys, and he's got a .946 save percentage, and he's kind of known for that energy and his leadership. What's he been like here through this, and how are you guys looking to sort of support him as he's still playing awesome, even though it's 0-2?
Yeah, like you said, he's been playing great. That's definitely something that gives us a lot of confidence when his game's on. Our group plays that much better. So, he's done his job, and now the team's got to do ours.
Potential lineup changes today. What do you think you guys are looking for, perhaps, with if Ennis comes in and Haas comes in and guys like that? What's the goal there?
I don't coach the team, so I don't know. But I think obviously we got lots of depth throughout our lineup, even on our taxi squad. We got guys that are very capable of stepping in and can produce and can contribute right away. And it's an absolute credit to those guys for keeping themselves ready if and when their time is called. And all of them have done a great job.
Daniel Nugent-Bowman, The Athletic.
Good morning, Connor. Yeah, I was going to ask a little bit about the line changes, just potential line changes, just in the sense that there have been a lot of shuffling in the first two games. It is not something that is unique to this team because Dave Tippett has moved around players a lot, especially in the later stages of the year. So, how do you guys feel about that? You're pretty comfortable moving around, or is it you like to kind of get in a rhythm at the beginning of a playoff series?
I mean, our group is, our lineup is always changing. Throughout the year, it's always been very fluid, and obviously, being down 2 in a series, you'd expect some changes. So, it's not that I don't think our group has played all that poorly. We haven't found a way to generate enough offense, and that's like I said, I'm not the one pulling the strings and making the calls, but I would assume that's probably part of his decision.
How did you find you guys as a line, you, Jesse, and Leon, kind of dictate play, or how did you play? I guess the last game. How'd you feel?
Yeah, I thought. I don't know. I thought we had the puck a lot. I thought we were able to create some chances. Didn't feel like we gave up a ton. But ultimately, it's our job to find a way to produce, and that's what we got to do.
Kelly Moore, CGOB.
Thanks very much. Connor, just want to go back to where you said they've had some things go in their favor that we have not. Are you comfortable in elaborating on that a little bit? They're obviously up 2-0 in the series, and they've had more things go in their favor than ours. That wasn't really alluding to anything. I mean, they've found a way to create their own bounces, and we haven't. That's just the way it is. Oh, okay. No, I was just kind of curious. That's all. And with respect to the start of the games, I think, in game one, it took a while to get the first shot. Game two, they had some good opportunities. Is one of the keys or one of the things you want to do a little bit differently and better tonight to get off to a bit of a more aggressive start?
I actually quite liked our start last game. I thought we were the better team until we gave up that kind of a little break there, I guess. Bearsy tries to swat at it and ends up on a breakaway, and we take a penalty, and then they play on the power play for the next couple of minutes. So that kind of switched the momentum back in their favor. But I honestly quite liked our start. I thought we came out and had lots of jump. We had the puck. We were doing all the things that we got to do. So obviously getting off to a better start. And in game one, I thought both teams kind of got off to a bit of a nervous start, and so do we. So obviously tonight a start's important. If we could find a way to make these guys chase the game a little bit, that would help. I think that's obviously big for us.
Ryan Rashad.
Thanks, Sean. Last one for me, Connor. It's clear that you guys are putting a focus on playing defense. You're not giving up a ton in your own end, and I know that was a goal of yours. Does that come at the expense of being able to generate the same way? Like, is there a fine line between, defending but also needing to push the envelope offensively, and how do you think you're doing with that?
No, I don't think there's a give and take. I think you saw our team do it all year this year. We were better defensively than we've been, ever before, I thought, and we created, more than we have before. So, there's not necessarily a give and take. I think what you're seeing is a defensive-minded series. Both teams, like I said, probably a couple of times ago, both teams have lots of respect for the other one's offense, and we're not trying to open this game up either. I think we got to make sure we're doing a job on their guys as well, and I think you're just seeing that both teams are nervous to open this thing up.
Jack Michael, 630 Ched.
Connor, does the experience of having played two relatively long series against San Jose and Anaheim, where there were a lot of shifts in momentum, help you at all now when you look at the larger picture and that there may be quite a bit of series left in this one?
We were in the same position the Jets are in against Anaheim and lost the series. Just in talking to Chase on, the year they won the Cup, they're in the same position we were in their first round against Columbus. So, there's lots of series left, obviously. But tonight's a big one, obviously. We got to find a way to get a win tonight.
Thanks, Connor.
Thank you. For no more questions, this concludes Connor McDavid's media availability.
And the pressure maybe goes up a little bit here, Zach, with you guys down a couple of games. How do you think your group is sort of poised to respond to that? I know you wanted to be a team that could, handle these moments. What are you sensing from your group?
That we're ready to play game 3. I think that the games could have went either way. Obviously, we're down 0-2. It's a huge game for us tonight. That's what we're worried about. We're worried about getting the win. I'm not worried about how we're going to respond. I thought we've played well, quite honestly, in the first 2 games. There's things we can do to maybe generate a little more offense, but other than that, we can't veer too far off the path here. We've done a lot of good things. We just haven't got a couple breaks. So it's a must win tonight. Guys are ready.
Also for you, Zach, it looks like there's some line tweaking. You might find yourself with Nugent Hopkins tonight. How have you felt you've been through the first 2 games yourself personally, and what do you hope to bring to maybe if there's more opportunity tonight?
It's let you guys. I'll let you experts read into the lines. My goal is to win a game tonight. It's a big game for our group. Got to play the way I can and get the win. That's most important. I'm not going to sit here and talk about myself. As a team, we got to win a game tonight. They've played well. We've played well. We've bent. We've broke. So we gotta find a way to get a win here tonight. And that's really our mindset as a group here.
Bob, stop for 6:30 chat.
Well, I'm certainly no expert, but just for Slater here, first of all, a bit of a Peterborough Windsor thing going on right now with both you guys there. But just a thought on whether or not maybe earlier in your career you might not have been able to come back like something like this from the collarbone and be ready to step in and play the minutes you have in the playoffs. And is that just part of the process? And how comfortable have you felt through the first couple of games, Slater?
Yeah, I think that's just growing up. I came back from 3 shoulder surgeries before, stronger than ever. So I knew I had it in me, and thanks to the training staff and the surgeon and the doctors that helped me through this, I prepared like I was going to play come playoff time. So that's what I've done, and big test here tonight.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Any other hands, media? Thank you. Oh, one more. Reiner Shaw, go ahead.
Thanks, Sean. Slater, based on practice this morning, looked like you might see some time with Tyson Barrie tonight. Obviously, he had a pretty incredible year. Just what are your thoughts on the mixture of the two of you and how you might work well together?
Yeah, I started the season off with Tice this year. I thought we did some good things. He ended up moving on to play with Doc most of the year and had an amazing season. So I'm just going to try and compliment him the best I can. Take care of my D zone, what's needed in that end, and then let Tice do his thing up the ice and try and help him wherever I can.
And one more for Zach. Just in terms of your starts, Zach, how do you think you guys have started the last 2? Was there some nervous energy there? And what are you looking for tonight in the first?
I thought they've been okay, but I think the start tonight's crucial, especially it's no secret how they want to play us. It's been evident in the first 2 games. So I think the start's very, very, very important for our game tonight. So there's things we've talked about as a group that we can improve on, maybe generate a little more offense, like I said. But at the end of the day, it's the will. It's the will to be better. And like I said multiple times through this interview, it's a big game for us tonight, and everyone's looking forward to it.
Thank you. This concludes our portion of our media availability.
One-timer score. Draisaitl set up by Darnell Nurse.
Well, Jujar, Zach Cassian said obviously it's pretty much a must-win situation for your team. Looks like you'll be back with Shore and Archibald, and you guys have had some success. Are you expecting to kind of have a big responsibility and facing off against one of the Ehlers line potentially today?
Yeah, I think we're going to be ready for for whatever it is Tip decides. Yeah, we're comfortable with each other. We like playing with each other. So we're just going to kind of, I guess, get back to where we were when we were most successful and, try to go out there and be an impact line.
Obviously, you got to find a way as a group to score more goals. And, it's easy to say ugly goals, but it's not that simple. What do you feel the group collectively needs to do to beat Hellebuck?
Yeah, I think it's, like you said, ugly goals. I think it's getting to them, it's creating those little scrums in front, and that's what we need to do. I think, they collapse well down there, and we just have to find a way inside and find a way to get pucks through and then find those rebounds and put them in.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hi, Jujar. It's often said that in playoffs, sometimes top two lines cancel each other out. So the determining factor of who wins the game is whether or not the third and fourth lines can outplay each other. What is the key into doing that for you guys is to outplaying, your counterparts on the other side?
For us, I think it's, keeping it simple, getting on the forecheck early and, getting pucks back to the D or kind of wherever, and then getting to the net. And like I said, creating those scrums down there and, trying to knock those ugly rebounds in.
And have the Jets kind of approached this series a little differently than they played in the regular season? It just looks like they're kind of sitting back and getting a lot of bodies behind the puck and kind of forcing you guys to find ways to get in the zone and things like that. What have you seen differently in this series that they did in the regular season?
Yeah, I think they've been aware defensively for sure. I think, from the first two games, there haven't been many outnumbered rushes against them. They always have that third guy back, and in the D zone, you can tell they have five guys collapsed in the house there. So, for us, it's just, I think, keeping it simple, especially for the bottom two lines and getting to the net.
Any other hands, media? Ryan Rashog, TSN.
I just wanted to ask about your starts. What have you kind of sensed in the group? How much of it, is there a bit of nerves happening, or how do you try and squeeze that out of your game tonight and just kind of dictate a little bit early?
I think for the first game, for sure, I think there were nerves in the first, and we kind of sat back a little bit. And I think as the game went on, we kind of took it to them a little bit. And last game, I thought our start was better, but today it's just kind of like Cass said, it's a must-win situation. So we have to put the nerves aside and just go out there and play.
It's been so low scoring. Feels like the margin for error is pretty slim, although both goalies are taking turns bailing their teams out. But what's the balance, Jujar, between wanting to create and maybe taking a few chances from the blue line in, but also kind of understanding how fast the script can kind of be flipped on you?
Yeah, I think, I think almost to a fault we're playing really simple in the offensive zone. And, we have to start realizing when we have those chances to make plays, and, maybe we have to pick our heads up a little bit faster and see the plays happening instead of just having that one mindset of, taking those outside shots, because, there's been times where those plays have been available where we've tried to keep it simple and get it to the net. So I think it's just finding that balance between being safe and taking the chances when they're there.
Thank you. This concludes Jujar Khaira's media availability. Please stay tuned for Dave Tip.
Stick of that pad out. Here's a one-timer score. Draisaitl set up by Darnell Nurse.
moving up. There are two guys that didn't play a ton in game 2. But what do you like, or what are you trying to get out of those two guys if you do move them up in the lineup tonight?
It's like everybody else, trying to get a little more. We're around the game, but we need a little more. We need a little something to put us over the top.
You think, putting a guy who hasn't played a lot, and I'm talking about in his NHL career, in Ryan McLeod, that could be kind of a spark for your team? Just a young guy coming in with kind of oblivious to the whole thing, if I'm phrasing that correctly.
I don't look at it as young guy, old guy. I look at whether he can do the job or not. We feel like he can do the job for us.
Reid Wilkins, 6:30 Chat.
Thanks, Sean. Dave, I mean, despite being down 2-0, how would you say your team has done in terms of being patient and poised? Because to me, it looks like they're sticking with a lot of good things and not panicking.
Yeah, I mean, their games have been close. We're just trying to, they're close doesn't get you anything if you're not winning games. So it's close. You got to find ways to find that little extra. But that being said, there's some things we like about our game. There's parts of our game that are solid, but there's things that we got to try to get a little better, a little more, a little extra play here or there to see if we can put ourselves over the top.
Just specifically with Ennis, I mean, he's played, I think, a couple dozen games in the postseason, and he's a pretty veteran guy. What do you think he specifically can add if he's in there?
Well, he's, like you say, he's a veteran guy. He can make plays. He's quick.
Reiner Shog, TSN.
Dave, you've gone to the taxi squad a few times this year and gotten really good results from guys that have been practicing with that group and maybe haven't played in a little bit. Does that give you, is it easier to make this amount of change when you've gotten the results you have off the taxi squad this year?
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, we've kept our whole group pretty tight. There was a lot of interchange, like you say, through the year. So, it's not abnormal to make some changes in your lineup and just kind of structure things different from looking for a different look on certain situations. So, I feel like our guys have done a great job of staying with it. It's a unique year where normally you have 23 guys. This year we had closer to 30, but everybody stayed involved. And when they get their opportunity, they've jumped in and played well.
You've done a good job defending. I mean, obviously a really low scoring series here. Is it, are you able to generate more offense at the other end without giving up more in your own end? Is it a give and take, or is there a solution to do both?
No, good teams do both.
Derek Van Diest, Post Media.
Hey, Dave. All season, your hockey team has been patient. They haven't chased the game. They've kind of let the game come to them. And in tight games, you've been able to get the break or the goal that you needed. When you're down 2-0, do you have to approach it the same way? Is it tougher to stay patient when you're down 2-0, or do you have to kind of force the matter a little more than you would otherwise?
Every game, you go into every game, there's different field, different situations in every game that come along. You got to do what you have to do to try to find a way to win. Sometimes that's being more patient. Sometimes that's pushing the envelope. That's just those are the swings that happen in a game that every game dictates a different kind of nuance to it.
And you have Chase on and Neil looks like maybe out of the lineup. Does that mean that Puljujarvi might be your net front presence on the power play now?
Yeah, we got a couple guys that could play there, but Pooley's played there this year quite a bit, so that's an option for us.
Mark Spector, Sportsnet.
Dave, there's the other series going on around the league. I mean, they're all trying to play strong defense too. You know that, but there's way more goals.
That's debatable. Watching some of them, but I'll take your word for it, Spec.
Okay, because there's lots of goals everywhere around the league, except for her series. This seems to be Oilers specific. The teams that try to shut down McDavid and Draisaitl, they line up at the blue line and they really fold back the way the Jets are. Is this inevitably? Is this not something your roster is going to have to figure out how to play against this? Because it's not the last time you're going to see it.
Well, every team gears towards the other team. We deal with it all year. I mean, every team that we play against, I guarantee you there's a conversation in there about Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Every single team you play. So it's not anything new that we haven't seen before. That being said, you got to find ways to get through it, get over it, and find ways to win.
So last one for me. This is a huge game. You got to win this game. We all know that. I always want to ask.
Every game is a huge game.
Sure, but this one's even huger. Do you
huger?
You don't have to remind your team of that. I know that. They realize where they're at. Do you coach, like, what do you say to a team? Does in the movies, they come in and do a big Newt Rockney speech before you leave the ice. Do you coach more or less on that front tonight? Do you need
you make sure our team knows exactly where we are. We make sure we're prepared, and you prepare your team to win. There's things that we can do better. There's things that we want to stay with. So it's like every other game. You prepare your team to try to win. But the players know that this is the playoffs. The players know what's at stake. So it's it's not as if you change everything you're doing to one day and think you're just going to change the whole outlook of things. You keep doing the things that have got you this far. You keep coaching. You keep tweaking things to try to get you over the top, and that's what we do today.
Last question, Jason Gregor.
Dave, we've seen 3 other coaches come out and pretty verbally disappointed with the officiating. Do you believe that if you come out and say something, does it help? You've been around a long time. Do you find because 2 of the coaches are winning this series and they said it and one's losing. Does it matter? And do you find that it does impact at all in your history if you come out and lambaste the officials?
You know what? Emotions come into play with coaches and players after games, but I've seen it go both ways, to tell you the truth, where you feel like you're on the wrong side of it and you express your displeasure, and it it just brings it to light a little bit. And other ways that coaches sometimes they do it to take some pressure off their team if you're not doing well. So I've seen it both ways. It just, you got to remember there's lots of emotion in the game, and sometimes that emotion runs over a little.
Fair to say you'd like to see a few more penalties called? Like, it's the lowest called series by a significant margin so far.
I don't have any complaints about the referees. There's been some calls that are calls. There's been some, I wouldn't say soft calls. The refereeing has been an issue in our series.
Thank you. This concludes today's media availability.